Hi guys, Pete Rusty Rex here. Right, this week we got to build a battery panel for the bike. Um, so I'm going to give it a shot. If I sound a bit vague in the video, it's because I don't know what I'm doing either. You guys do, I don't. But anyway, yeah, you guys probably don't know what I'm doing either. I don't, that's for sure. But anyway, have a look at the video. If you enjoy it, have a look through the others. Please do subscribe, it's absolutely free. It's about the only thing that is these days. And give me a thumbs up. Okay. Hi guys, got a bit of this, it's from racking, and I've marked it out. This bit's actually got a nice strange looking curve in some of it, can't really see it much though. I've cut a couple of angles in it, drilled some holes, and put some markings on, and I'm going to try and make a battery tray out of it. How well it goes is another thing. Quite literally, you can see I've just cut some angles into it, marked it out so I can cut this piece out. Yeah, I'm going to see how it goes. I don't know what's going to happen yet. So I've quite literally just bent this end up and chopped the end off it, stripped the paint off, with one of those whizzy discs that I used before. Yeah, so it's taking shape. I figure if I get a piece of this, bit in 2mm, and go round, that should solve the problem. And then I just have to make all the attachments to fit to the bike. So yeah, piece of that in 2mm, because this is 4mm. Going right the way around, you can actually see from the line on the battery that is actually level. Okay guys, so I bought some of this stuff, which is 2mm, essentially the same as darker grey stuff but thinner, as you can see. Dark grey one is 4mm, that one's 2mm, supposedly. So all I did was I bent a rectangle, quite literally I bent in shape, and I haven't welded it on or anything. It's bent in shape, as you can see, and sat on top of there. So you can see that it's nice and level across that line there that says upper level. So I've got to weld all that together. Right guys, as you can see, I've bent that out, like I said, and welded it on. Then what I've done is I've put that sort of roughly in place on blocks of wood to work out where I want it approximately, made a bracket and just tack welded it on in several places, just so I can line up everything else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run it, I had the horn attached to that, but what I'm going to do is run it from there. I'm going to weld a stripping along this edge, which will act as an anchor for the battery strap to retain it, and then I'm going to put a bracket from there across that strip. So I'm just working out now, if this isn't too hot because I just cut it, whereabouts I want this strip. So there's a strip you see, and it will go along to the other end in between those bits, and then I can anchor something from there to there, and that'll do for two sides of it, which will then help. But once I've got the strip in, then I can measure this and work out what length it needs to be. So yeah, the battery tray is getting there. I was going to have the battery tray, I'll move that piece of metal, up here, but then I decided that in that panel that I usually have there, the fiberglass one, I was going to cut a steel one. A, the guy never come up with steel. B, I realised that the balance of the bike will be very top heavy if I put the battery up there. So I'm mounting it lower down, which is quite a lot lower down, and it's nearer the middle of the bike. So that way it's just gives it better balance, and it's hidden away then behind the side panel. It will be behind there. You'll just see the bottom of it, which will all be tied up. Yeah, and on the original bike, the battery holder comes out further than this rail, as can be seen here. You've got the battery tray, and then you've got the rail, so a battery holder from an original bike wouldn't work. The only thing I'm missing on the Project bike is one of these rubbers. I've got to get one of them rubbers. I don't know where I'm going to get one. It just holds the starter solenoid, and I don't actually own one. Not a spare one, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. But yeah, so that's where I'm up to at the moment. I'm just going to weld that strip in. There, it's not the straightest bar in the world, but you can see it there. Or there. Not the straightest bar in the world, not the prettiest looking battery box, but you're not going to see most of it, so it doesn't matter. It's just to hold the battery. But next thing I've got to do is, if you look down here, you can see that it isn't quite straight. It needs to be about there. So I've just got to straighten out that little bracket on the outside slightly, otherwise it will, as soon as I let go, it's there, which is nice and straight, that will, it will move back, and you can see there's an angle there, so I need it about there. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to cut the bracket that goes, where is it, that goes across there, like so. Well, I'll actually go across this metal strip, and then I can weld that on, and then I can start putting the little mounts on for the strap, which would be quite interesting, and see how strong it is, see if it needs the support at the back, which I'm not sure. I think it might, personally, but we'll see. Right, my usual way of doing things. Line it up roughly with where you want it. That looks about right. And mark it and cut it and see what happens. Yeah, a lot of guesswork. Yeah, let's find out. Alright, so latest bracket cut. I drilled the hole in it first and then lined it up roughly and cut it. And first time I cut it, I had to cut about 3mm off of it because it was a little bit too long, but it's now looking in the right place. Everything's got to look worse before it looks better. It's lined up approximately in there quite nicely, so yeah, so just remember that, guys, everything's got to look worse before it looks better, otherwise you don't appreciate the good things. So let's have a look at this, see what we can do. Shove a tack weld on there or two. Right, just weld on a load more brackets. I know it looks like a flock of seagulls have flown over it, but don't worry. It will clean up alright. It's still hot, so I've got to be careful. Yeah, weld up one edge there where I can see a little gap. When I grind that down, it will disappear. It's very hot, this thing. Yeah, weld on a clip at the front, bit there. I'm going to clean it up now, see what it looks like. Okay, as you can see, straps on. I welded a hook onto that side. I know the welding isn't great. I've seen better welding on a Chevy. It's one of them things. seen better welding on a Ford for that matter. Yeah, if you're wondering what this tab's for, it's when I have the rubber, when that goes in there, I can put the starter solenoid on there, so it looks fairly tidy. Then that lead will reach. I've taken off the earth at the moment, just because it was in the way. But yeah, that'll go on. That is securely in there. Doesn't move around. The whole bike moves if you grab hold of it. I've got to shape these better. That one and that one, or whether it's gone there, because they're just square at the moment. From the top, yeah, lines up quite nice. Misses the chain guard and the swing arm. Got a bit of room there. Yeah, so now I can put the wiring back in once that's sorted out. Still need to get this rubber to go on here. Don't know where I'm going to get one of that by a starter solenoid. Bit of a pain, really. Yeah, and then I can finish off this bit. But yeah, so need to sort out these ends. I'm going to cover this with some. I did weld up. There was a little round hole down there, so I filled it with weld and just ground it down. If it looks like, oh no, it doesn't anymore. It used to stick out down here, so I welded it and ground it and welded it and ground it. But yeah, the battery fits in there very nicely. The new battery is the same size, the one that I'm getting. So that does the job so far. And if I move that, you can see it's just, yeah, you can still see the welding there. It's terrible, but that will be hidden by the starter solenoid. But it does hold in there. It's not going anywhere. So that's all I intended. You can see the rubber strap goes down here and attaches behind here, because I wanted that in fairly high up, so it's easy to do. Yeah, more on that later. Right, so I'm going to get on and do a bit more, guys. The strap does go across near enough the middle of the battery, so yeah. So yeah, I'll join you in a minute. Right, guys, I painted the battery holder black. Doesn't look too bad. One of the things. That is at an angle for a reason. You'll see why. But I've put a bit of foam in it just to add some padding for the battery. I've got the battery strap, but this little bit on the back here needs to be closed up, so I'll get a pair of pliers in it and do that, and then that will be held in there so it doesn't fall down. So just going to do that. Gotta get it off of there. Right, back in a minute. Right, so I've just closed that up with a pair of pliers so that can't come out there. It'd be very difficult for it to. So next thing to do is try it on the bike. Yeah, I've put the foam there just to add as a base for the battery, just for it to sit on something a bit padded. It does have drainer holes in the bottom, as you can see. What was I going to say? I can't remember. But let's put this in the bike so you can see. Right, so there's two ways of doing this at the moment. Getting the battery in there. I'm going to take that bolt out, because that bolt is for the side panel. Right, so that then goes there like that. We have a bolt and a washer, which when I get hold of it, I did have the horn linked to here, so now I'm going to have to rethink where I put the horn. Where's the Allen key? There it is. So yeah, the Allen key still fits in there. So when we do it up, it's easier. It's a really long bolt for some stupid reason, know me. Right. So that fits in there like that. Right. There is a nut. I'll put that on before I put the side panel on. Just to show you how it works. Quite simple. Don't really want that to scratch that paintwork, but it will. I can guarantee it will scratch the paintwork. Right. So the starter solenoid will be going in there once I get the rubber for it, like I said. But before that, you get the battery, and the battery, I know it does fit in this way round. Not the easiest thing to fit this way, due to various things, but I can take the battery holder out and put the battery in and all that. I got it stuck. Like going that way. I had it in this way yesterday. I managed to put it in this way and it worked. So there we go. So that goes in there like that. You get that rubber strap and stretch it and put over that hook like so, and the battery's in there, and it's secure as the original Honda one. So I mean, it's in there. Oh, bike moves more than anything. Yeah, so as I say, that starter solenoid, got to do something like that, start motor wire, goes there, which will then tie the whole bike up. Then, hopefully, yeah, then the side panel will still go on, because the original battery holders for these stick out, and then they cut a bit out the bottom of the side panel. So, only thing is, I've now got this little window that, for a lead acid battery, would be perfect. I had a brain fart, or whatever you want to call it, and put a window in it. Thing is, don't need a window in it. So we'll make at some point a decorative panel so that when that's on there, you just see some fins there to match the engine, like black with polished edges. So you don't see that bit, or something, or a polished panel that just goes over it or something. So just tidy it up. Yeah, so right, I've got to get the rest of the wiring back together. Right, as you can see guys, most of it's back together, but I did have the horn there, or there, but the horn no longer fits there. So now I've got to work out where to put the horn, which is a real problem. Probably a problem for another day. Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, most of the bike's back together now. There's the seat, which does just... seat does fit on there. Bear with me for a sec. Yep. Seat goes in there like that. The problem I've got is where this sticks out, that's 2mm thick. I'm going to fit a couple of washers on that one when I put the side panel on, which is just one of them things. Yeah, so it can be a bit of a pain. Let's try and fit that side panel, see if it's going to work. I do have to undo the battery holder, but it should stay there. Probably scratched the paint to buggery by now. There's the nut. Right, there's that washer. Let's find a couple more of them. I do have a couple on the bench. No, they've gone. Oh, run away. Hang on. Right, 2 more washers. Don't know how thick they are, but it looks about right. So now, side panel. It's going to be interesting. See if it fits still. Right. Got a washer on the outside, and then 2 on the inside, and see if I can still get that on there, or if I have to redesign the side panels. Oh no, it seems to be going on. So, and that breather pipe is a bit of a pain with it all. I did extend the breather pipe. I put a longer one on there. Right, so that goes on there like so. That nut, that thread isn't great. That nut goes back on there. Little tiny 10mm. Right. So the side panel actually goes back on. The breather pipe's there. I do have the panel that goes in there. Although I'm going to have to cut a hole in it for the breather pipe, or for the engine breather. But that's not a problem. So, we now have a battery panel. Right guys, as you've seen, we built a battery panel for the bike. May not be the greatest in the world, but it does the job. So, yeah, I mean, I do the best I can. The bike, yeah, what am I doing with it? Well, it's a bit odd. It's I decided to build a CB450, and it sort of only had a 450 engine, and that's been brought out to 500cc from what I can tell. And yeah, and the parts that I had weren't for a Super Dream, they were for a Dream and a CB400A and a CB400N for that matter. So yeah, it's turned out a bit different, but yeah. Anyway guys, please subscribe, have a great weekend, and try to get to 100 subscribers. So help me do it guys. Take care. Bye.